Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Christian, and I'm a mix engineer. Today, we're diving into On Your Mind by Vinjay. Let's dive in. All right, I've said this before. I'll say it again. This is one of the catchiest songs I've ever heard. This chorus, man, I literally called my friend when I heard it. I was like, you got to listen to this chorus because it's so catchy. Also, whoever produced this did great, man. Like, so good. Let's dive into these drums here. Super minimal stuff. Like, this doesn't even have anything on it. Yeah. Light EQing, light high passing, just to like make space for different frequencies throughout it. But the rest of it is just like drum bus stuff, right? Let me get to the good stuff. So watch. This tape machine, little drive right here. Transient shaper, light attack, just to like help everything pop, but then slamming it to like bring out some of the like quieter tonal stuff. But that's it, you know. Like this is one of those songs that you don't do a whole lot to because it already sounds really great. Like this 808. So good, man. Even this other bass, like in the verse. Like there's nothing on it. So good. So for the key stuff, this whole song is just a matter of like making space for everything, which is a mixer's job. I get it. Don't even get me started. I know what I'm saying. But like it's less about polishing everything and just using what's already sounding so good and letting it flow together really well. And so like that's why you see just really light EQ stuff going on here. Like this doesn't even have anything. The string stuff, you know. This is probably the most that I treated anything out of like all the music stuff is this string short. Yeah, the one. EQ to like get some body and some of that like bow attack, driving it. And then like this attack, just like a ding, ding, ding. I wanted those bow attacks hard, you know. But let's go down the list. Like all these things, big strings too. Like it's just, you know, same thing here with the attack. Nothing a compressor couldn't do. Like this is a compressor for dummies, but I just like having attack knob. Sometimes, okay. I'm glad that there's horns in this because this is a fun topic to talk about. Sometimes with horns, actually pretty often with horns, it's kind of the same thing I do with hi-hats. They have such a unique texture and they're almost never on their own. So like you can do a lot to a horn to like let it stand out. And like when you solo it, it sounds like a little aggressive, but in context, like if you smash a horn or like overdrive a horn, it still sounds like a horn, but it's just like, you know, the character is standing out. But, you know, in context. I don't even know your name and know that I'll be. So, anyways, just a thought there. See, you can literally, let's go down the line here. You can literally see how much I'm doing on all this stuff. It's very calm, you know, like light stuff, you know. I'm not gonna EQ bells. Sounds great. Anyways, so that is essentially all the music stuff. Let's dive into the vocals here because there's a few things going on here. Clearly there's, you know, that feature vocal that, sorry, I don't know your name off the top of my head right now. But Vinjay's here, obviously, for starters. If you need more depth on my vocal processing, go back to other videos. But you can clearly just see, like, you know, notching some of these weird frequencies in the mids, low mids, boosting some of this just to get it to feel natural. I've got my light compressor right here and then my smashy compressor here. With some saturation. I chose some saturation. But, you know, if you're going to do that, just high pass it because this ends up just adding more low end, which, you know, can defeat the purpose. De-esser and fresh air, which I drove pretty hard. Wow, look at that. So let me just like work down here.
Lately everybody all in my face. They want to tell me how to move while they jogging in place. I ain't really in the mood. I got the time to debate with all you bottom feeders who ain't got no guap in the bank. You better focus on yourself. I've been doing well. Let the money talk. I don't gotta yell. It's crazy how the ones doing nothing try to clown you until you...
Oh, and then here the doubles. Here's a little hack too. If they're like not actually doubles, they're just kind of like ad-libs. Treat it the same and then throw this doubler on it. You know, duh. What an easy fix, right? Doesn't work all the time though, and it can kind of sound like this robotic situation, but for this it ended up working really well. But you just have to take out the direct so it's not in line with the lead. Like this would just have it in the middle. These are just the sides, so watch this.
Y'all in my face, jogging in place. Really in the mood, I got the time to debate with all you bottom feeders who ain't got no guap in the bank. You better focus.
Little cheat. And then same thing, you know, like all these ad-libs, you can keep them the same, like throw the exact plugins on it or tweak them a little bit just to give them some extra, you know, life. But ad-libs are so unique, man. Like everybody's got a different taste for ad-libs, and so you just got to watch out for that. But here you can see on the ad-libs, for these ones, I verbed them. I threw the verb on just this one instead of like all the vocals together. And so like that was the one change that I chose to do this time around. Now, here's same thing with this verse.
Yo, look, made a mistake when I was younger. That's the way you turn. Ain't concerned with falling out with people. That's the way you learn. Crazy how
EQ.
the world be trying to cancel every name they
DMR.
heard. But when they under the telescope, they want the grace they never gave you first. In layman
Pretty
terms,
good
they hate and share
smasher.
mistakes they may take aim and haunt them. And the ones they prey on switch lanes and then prey upon them. That's why I learned about my time and turn the pages on them. Y'all are some actors, you just part of the cast. Never
Whoa, look
known
at
to
that.
the masses. Photo
So
bomb
much
in the
pressure.
bag. And imagine my satisfaction watching half of you crashing. It's not a
Didn't I
lack of
smash
compassion.
too?
I just can't help but laugh at the...
Looks like I just went for this. It's been a while since I've dived into this mix here, but it's a lot of drive, a lot of overdrive, or a lot of smash, a lot of overdrive. Now let's get to that hook thing, which I love so much. But watch how it's treated, because you know this happens sometimes. Like people will send like group vocals for a chorus or just like treated vocals. You still have to treat them, you know, to get it kind of working with the flow of whatever you're working on, like to get it sitting right in the mix. So this is one that was sent like with everything, you know.
Hate me, love me, I know I'll be just fine. They try to take me down, that can't get rid of my shine.
Sounds super cool. There's a lot of stacks. There's like these high pitch, you know, the low stuff that's coming in and out. And so part of me is kind of grateful that it was sent that way, because it, you know, it can get tricky to like recreate that, or just time consuming. Obviously not impossible, and I'm more than happy to put the time in. But you know, if the producer like made that, or whoever made that and liked it, you know, we can tweak it to make it sound good, right? So obviously I just like mix it into the context of whatever Vin J and the featured verse was doing. So like,
Hate me, love me, I know I'll be just fine. They try to take me down, that can't get rid of my shine. You've been dying to
and this is a cool thing too that I've been seeing a lot more lately, which I actually appreciate too, is like they just had the effects on.
hate me, love me, I know I'll be fine. They try to take me.
You know, like some producers just want exactly what they want, you know, like they have their sound, they have their delays that they don't want to try and recreate and mix, and cool, like saves me time, you know. But and so you just have to, you know, blend it in and shoot for what the artist or the producer is striving for, and it's really helpful, you know. Like clearly I cranked the verb because it sounded awesome, and my mindset with this was just, okay, I'm gonna make Vin J sound as good as possible, I'm gonna make the other verse sound as great as possible. So this obviously sounds great. Let's just, how do I blend all these together to make them sound awesome, but also be like exactly the same as everything else too. And so that's the trick, you know. You just have to like really kind of dive in and figure out how to make that work. But man, this is like one of the coolest songs I've heard in a long time. It's one of my favorites. Let me dive into the mix stuff here, the end. So I didn't use the low latency. I chose this one. Different characteristic, like sonic characteristic. I do like the modern thing of the vintage limiter. I find that the biggest difference between all of these modes are like the low end, the warmth, and modern, especially for hip hop, can like really drive. And then, man, I don't do this all the time, but if I want some more stereo image, I just use this thing on just the music though. That way it's not phasing the vocal or anything like that, but you know, hot take. It's kind of crazy that I use a stereo image on all the music, but whatever, you know, I don't care. As long as it sounded good, you know? And then my ever so loving combo here, Gold Clip and Pro 2. Now for this, I did do the saturation just for extra low end hits, you know. Again, just watch out for it because it can get kind of crazy, especially like when you're on the final stages of your mix. But and you know, same thing for like this number too. I know in previous videos I've talked about like the magic numbers, kind of like the 2 to 3 range. This is hitting harder. That's fine. You know, it doesn't matter. As long as it sounds good to you and like you can slam it however much you want. This was a song that I felt like could be slammed more. And then same thing for this too. Like you just mess with your attacks, mess with your styles, just so that these are working in tandem really well. I think these two are such a good combo, but you just have to finagle it and get the best sound out of it. And so here is everything together.
Hey, me, love me, I know I'll be just fine. They try to take me down, that can't get rid of my shine. You've been dying to live, but I'm not living to die. I don't even know your name and know that I'll be on.
Yo, look, made a mistake when I was.
Awesome. That's it. I think my phone died, so the video's probably gone at this point. But anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.